Good evening, friends. Welcome to the weekly media briefing. Abu and I and Prateek have just walked all the way from JNB to here, from Shastri Bhavan to here because there was a demonstration. Yet we managed to reach in time. Shows to you our commitment to this weekly interaction with the media. So I have just one opening announcement. The newly appointed National Security Advisor of Myanmar, U Thong Tun, is currently on an official visit to India. U Thong Tun is a career diplomat who has held diverse posts in the course of his long career in the Myanmar Foreign Office. In his present capacity, he is expected to advise the Myanmar government on internal and external threats by assessing situations from a strategic point of view. We welcome him to India and are privileged that he has chosen to make India his first port of call following his appointment. During his stay in India, he will be interacting at length with our own National Security Advisor, with Minister of State for External Affairs, with Foreign Secretary, Defense Secretary, and others. We look forward to a productive association with U Thong Tun and with the office of the NSA in the time to come. That concludes my only announcement. Floor is now open for questions. Good? Okay. Mukesh.
Sir, days after putting house arrest Hafiz Saeed, one of the senior minister of Pakistan said that India needs to provide more evidence about his involvement in Mumbai terror attack. You have some comments to offer?
Look, let us be very clear. The entire conspiracy in the Mumbai terror attack case was hatched in Pakistan. All the terrorists came from Pakistan. All the planning was done in Pakistan. All the support was rendered from Pakistan. So all the evidence to implicate the mastermind of the Mumbai terrorist attack is already available in Pakistan. In fact, Hafiz Saeed has himself confessed to masterminding multiple attacks, terrorist attacks directed at India. So the so-called concrete evidence that Pakistani establishment is looking for is already available in Pakistan. All they need to find is the requisite political will.
सर, 2 कश्मीरी एथलीट को यूएस ने वीजा देने से मना कर दिया है। क्या माना जाए कि ट्रंप के निशाने पर अब इंडियंस भी आने वाले हैं?
देखिए, ये जो 2 कश्मीरियों की आपने बात की है, उसके बारे में जो रिपोर्ट्स हैं वो हमने भी देखी हैं। हमने उन रिपोर्ट्स को ध्यान में रखते हुए यूएस एम्बेसी के साथ पूछताछ भी की। यूएस एम्बेसी ने साफ स्पष्ट किया है कि इन 2 कश्मीरियों को वीजा ना देने का राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑर्डर के साथ कोई संबंध नहीं है। उन्होंने कहा है कि ये उनकी टर्मिनोलॉजी में it was a standard adjudication based on the merits of the case. तो क्योंकि ये उन्होंने आधिकारिक तौर पर हमको कहा है, उनके जो स्पोक्समैन हैं उन्होंने भी ये कहा है, तो आई थिंक उसी बेसिस पे हमको इसको एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। रंजीत।
Since India has participated in SAARC officials meeting in Kathmandu, can we conclude that India has given go-ahead for summit-level interactions of the SAARC countries?
No, how can you make that particular, jump? Our position is very clear. We remain committed to the ideals and objectives of SAARC. Our objection was to the holding of the SAARC summit in Islamabad at a time when one particular country is opposed to regional connectivity initiatives, is promoting cross-border terrorism, is interfering in the domestic affairs of other countries. Not only India, all other SAARC countries also joined in saying that this time was not conducive to hold the SAARC summit in Islamabad. That remains our position. Yeah. Sanjay.
Sir, regarding the 2 Kashmiri athletes, they are athletes after all. Is there any special suggestion or request that will be made by the MEA to the American embassy about getting them visas? Because clearly, if you are satisfied with why they are going, surely maybe there would be some effort by the Indian government as well.
Look, first of all, those athletes have not approached the government of India for any assistance. My understanding is that the mayor of that concerned city where this competition was taking place himself is taking up their matter with the concerned authorities. But at the end of the day, issue of visa is the sovereign jurisdiction and right of every country. And at the end of the day, you know, it is their decision. Pranay.
So a lot of concern about President Donald Trump's visa policies and especially the H-1B visa things. Especially the Indian professionals and Indian companies are worried. What concrete steps government of India is envisaging to assuage their concerns?
Look, first of all, let us be very clear. No executive order has been signed so far. All that has happened is 3 private bills have been introduced in the US House of Representatives. Such bills have been introduced in the past also. And such bills have to go through the full congressional process. So let us not prejudge the outcome, because we have seen what has happened to similar bills in the past also. If and when an executive order is passed, we will certainly give you our reaction. Charu?
Indeed, no executive order has been signed yet, but President Trump, when he was candidate Trump, referred to this issue repeatedly and has made, at that time, his intentions and his position on this clear. It's not a position on which he has backed off since coming to power. There's also been a leaked copy of a draft executive order on this issue. So, and I understand, as you had mentioned a few days back, India has articulated its concerns and position on this. Have we, in our interactions with the Trump team, either during the transition or post taking over, received any commitment or assurance from them on our concerns?
We remain in dialogue with the Trump administration as well as the US Congress at senior levels. They are fully aware of our position on this particular matter. And I think our position is fairly clear that Indian software exports and Indian software technical personnel add to the competitiveness of US industry. Arunim?
So yesterday, the EM tweeted that 5 Indian nationals have been released from a jail in Togo. Can you please give us the details of the case and what the nature of the charges against him?
Well, basically, EM had tweeted, as you have said yesterday, regarding the release of the 5 Indian nationals belonging to the state of Kerala from custody in Togo. These persons, their names are Mr. Anthony Godwin, Mr. Naveen Nivarath Gopi, Mr. Tharun Babu, Mr. Nithin Babu, and Mr. Shaji Abdullah Kutti. Now, they had been in prison in Togo since 2013. They were released by a presidential pardon on account of the persistent efforts of MEA and our High Commission in Accra. EM has also raised this issue with the Togolese leadership. Our High Commissioner has spoken to the Indian nationals after their release. They are in good health and are looking forward to reunite with their families in India. All of the Indian nationals are thankful to the Government of India for persistent efforts to secure their release. Their travel arrangements are being made to facilitate their return to India, and air tickets are being organized through the Indian Community Welfare Fund. Our Honorary Consul General in Lomé is making stay arrangements till the necessary formalities for their departure to India are completed. They had been arrested on so-called piracy charges. Yes. Tiwari ji.
There are reports that Chandu Babu Lal Chauhan was tortured in Pak up to some extent that he has lost his mental balance. Is there any report to you, and are you going to take this issue to Pak?
We have not seen those reports. As you know, he was handed over at the Wagah-Atari border to the personnel from the MOD side, and I think the right quarters to direct your query would be MOD. Yeah.
So the Pakistan Army had recently commented that the detention of Hafiz Saeed is in line with their national interests. How much of credence do you give this? What do you make of this remark? And also the release of Chavan, does it indicate, according to you, a softening of position by Pakistan, which could lead, pave the way for talks eventually?
Look, we welcome the steps taken by Pakistan on humanitarian matters. You have already seen our response on the house arrest of Hafiz Saeed. We have consistently maintained that a bilateral dialogue with Pakistan is only possible in an atmosphere free of terror and violence. Any credible steps by Pakistan in that direction will certainly be welcomed by India. But as far as the matter that you mentioned of Hafiz Saeed and his arrest, etc., look, we will not go by their claims or their statements. We will go by what we see on the ground. At the end of the day, that is what matters to us. At the back.
Sir, regarding the Togo issue, when we can expect that 5 Indians at home?
As soon as we are aware of their flight details, we will let you know. Manish.
Because has there been any discussion on Pakistan and Pakistan origin terrorism with the Trump administration so far?
Look, we have had very wide-ranging consultations with the Trump administration at the highest possible levels. Prime Minister and President Trump have spoken. Foreign Secretary has been there. National Security Advisor has been there. So obviously, we have discussed the entire gamut of issues in the India-US bilateral relationship, as well as regional issues. This was also alluded to in the White House readout that was put out after the meeting, after the telephone call between President Trump and Prime Minister. So I'm pretty sure the White House is very well aware of our position on cross-border terrorism and what Pakistan needs to do. Yes.
We see there's a report from BBC News that there's a PLA soldier, he crossed the border in 1963. And the Chinese embassy say that they are keeping in touch with him and try to assist him. And now they are waiting for the response from the Indian government. Do you have any information to share with us?
Yes, we are aware of this matter, especially now the BBC documentary has brought it into a much wider public domain. We are in touch with the Ministry of Home Affairs to ascertain the details and to see how best we can handle this matter. Kalul.
So the Palestinian president visited Dhaka and Islamabad, but did not visit Delhi. Why has it happened? You were supposed to pay a reciprocatory visit after President Mukherjee's visit to Palestine.
Look, first of all, I think it is ridiculous to suggest that every visitor who comes to our neighboring countries needs to come to India, just as every world leader who comes to India does not necessarily go to our neighboring countries. Insofar as our relationship with Palestine is concerned, it is very robust and wide-ranging. Our commitment to the Palestinian cause is well known. You are also aware of the bilateral assistance that we have provided to Palestine and the various visits that have happened. Rashtrapati ji visited Palestine for the first time and stayed in Ramallah. The first ever historic joint commission meeting between India and Palestine was held on November 7-8, 2016 for diversification of cooperation into several areas, including IT, health, education, capacity building, security cooperation, etc. We are setting up a $12 million technopark to connect Palestinian youth with the Indian IT sector, and are also setting up an institute of diplomacy in Palestine for training of Palestinian diplomats through GOI assistance of 4.5 million. We have also doubled the number of scholarships for Palestinians to undertake higher studies in India. We have increased the number of ITEC slots from 80 to 150 and ICCR scholarships from 25 to 50. Insofar as the issue of President Abbas's visit to India, let me also confirm to you that he has accepted the invitation to visit India. We expect his visit to take place sometime this year. Thank you all.